How's it going, guys? Midway Piper here. I hope all is going well. Whew. Weather's not too bad today, but been outside working all day. Pretty sure I got in some poison ivy, so came home, showered, just enough time to come out for a quick smoke before I head back to the gym tonight. So, wanted to come to you guys with a quick thing. Before I get into it, though, housekeeping. This is the Morgan Bones Mini Lumberman. This has actually become one of my default go-to pipes. It's very strange. It's a great smoker. It's a little bit longer than I normally like for a pipe, but the size and everything of it's perfect. In it, I have a blend that I made up myself a little while ago. Actually, no, I made this up for a Paladin's challenge. I thought it was going to be the blend I was going to smoke for the month, and when I opened it up after mixing it, it did not smell very good at all. But now it's had some time to age together. Pretty good stuff. I call it Midway's Comfort. It is Ahab's Comfort mixed with Sutliff Z88 Maple Walnut. Because Ahab's Comfort didn't have enough of mix of everything in it. Why not? I'm actually liking it quite a bit. It's not a very heavy smoke, which is good, because I didn't want a very heavy smoke today. Anyways, point of today's video. I was watching some stuff yesterday. I was listening to some interviews with Jack Dorsey. You may recognize the name. He's a founder of Twitter. And then founding partner in Square, which has evolved. The company is now called Block. It includes Square still, but also Cash App, BitKey, which is a Bitcoin wallet thing, as well as a couple other aspects to the company. And it's a very Bitcoin heavy company. And I've always liked Jack Dorsey, listening to interviews with him. Never mind Twitter or any of that kind of stuff. Watching interviews with him, he seems like an incredibly intelligent guy. And I've been invested in the past with Square at the time, and the stock did not do me very well, to be perfectly honest. I didn't hold it all that long, but it didn't do me very good. I think my dad was also involved in it for a little while too, and then he ended up selling out of it. But I just saw the news yesterday that Block just moved into the S&P 500. There was a acquisition between Chevron and Hess. Chevron bought out Hess, which means Hess was no longer in the S&P 500, and it was replaced with Block. And I said, wow, that's a surprise, because I haven't been following them for a little while, but it was a surprise to me that the stock was doing well enough to move up. So I started doing some research last night on Block again, and watching some more interviews with Jack Dorsey. And one of the things that he said in one of his interviews, and they were asking him why is he such a big fan of Bitcoin? And I've dabbled in and out of cryptos. I completely sold out of it maybe a year or two ago. Just the whole purchasing crypto and kind of thing, and I use Coinbase, and they've got all these fees for everything, and you buy it on Coinbase, and then you pay a fee, and then you move it out of Coinbase into a wallet, and you pay a fee. And then if you want to sell it, you move it back into Coinbase, and you pay a fee, and then you sell it, you pay a fee. No. Should I have stuck it out? Yeah. Anyways, the interview was with Jack Dorsey. They were asking him what importance he sees to Bitcoin, and they're asking specifically about his Cash app. I don't know if you guys have used it before. I've dabbled with it in the past a little bit, but it allows you to send money instantly to other Cash app users, without the involvement really of a bank. And come on. In the interview, he was talking about how, regardless of how these other companies are working, at the end of the day, there's always going to be a stranglehold in the CEO or within the company, because these companies are built to make profits. And so there's always going to be weird things that get in the way of being able to try to do things. You need permissions to do just about anything. And had I not had the experience I had recently, I would have been confused by that. But I wanted to take just a quick moment. I mentioned in a number of videos ago about a potential side gig. And that was setting up that Walmart reseller store with the Limits Express company. And they have been holding up their end of the bargain very well. They have, I tried to wire them the money to set up the account. They started setting up the account. I have a login page for Walmart. Walmart is now verifying my account. And I looked in my business account and I saw that the money was still there. It didn't send. And so I went to Chase Bank and I talked to them. I said, "What's going on? Why are you not sending my money?" They kept getting rejected. The ACH to them. And they said, "Oh, we don't know. So they called up and I gave permissions for the ACH that I approved of sending money to that account. Kept getting flagged, kept getting rejected. So I went in and I talked to the bank manager, and he said, "Okay, well, let's try wiring the money then. It's going to be a $30 fee for that." And I was like, "To hell with your fee. I'll pay an ACH fee, which is like, $2. But I'm sure as hell not going to pay $30 for you to wire money because you are preventing me from ACHing." So he said, "I'll see what I can do." And I said, No. There's no C. There's you will do. So he said, let's wire the money and see what happens, and then we'll get it taken care of. Try to wire it. Wire was rejected. So I asked him why. He said, "Well, I can't tell you anything specific, but it seems as though somebody reported fraudulent activity at this specific account." And I said, "Interesting." That was always a concern in the back of my mind with working with this, because it seems too good to be true. You can go back and see my video on Side Gig, I think I called, or something like the new Side Gig or something like that. Working with Limits Express, you can find that video. It's not that long ago, I guess. And I said, "That's interesting because I ACH'd." So they have two different accounts. They have one for account setup, and then they have an account for inventory. and I sent them money for inventory, and that went through fine. And they're both accounts are at the same bank, the same routing number. The only difference is the account numbers. And I said, well, why would it go through on the inventory and not this account? Wouldn't everything that this company was associated with be flagged? And he said, I don't know. I was like, can you get me any details on why? He said, nope. Due to privacy information, they cannot tell me anything about why that account might be flagged. Nothing. So I've been in contact with the company. We had a phone call the other day. They've been very receptive. And like I said, they've held up their end of the bargain. They have started setting up my Walmart store already. So they are doing exactly what they said they were going to do. So then they revoked my ACH to the inventory account because the other one was flagged. So Chase has said at this point that they will never send money to that account. But they can't tell me why. That's the permissions thing that Jack Dorsey was talking about. If I want to send some money to a business, I can't do it through them. They won't allow me to do it. Very strange. And so this is that permissions thing again that he was talking about. I can write a check and mail it to them. That's old-fashioned and outdated. So I started messing around again with Cash App today. And you can set up an account. And as long as they set up an account, I can send them whatever money I damn well please. So it's interesting. I get it to a degree. They've got your interest at heart, supposedly. But if you can't tell me anything about why you have a restriction in place, and I get privacy concerns, but if you're going to say, no, we can't, I want to know why. I don't just want to hear, no, we can't because. It's not helpful. So, I don't know. It's just not something I ever really thought about. It's your money, your business account, and they're telling you who you can and can't do business with, essentially. Now, could I switch out of Chase and go to another bank, and would they allow it? Maybe. The fact of the matter is, any other bank around here is inconvenient and out of the way. There is only one bank around here, for the most part, and it's Chase. So, yeah. Just wanted to mention that. It's just a different perspective that I'd never really thought of before until watching that interview. And, again, I have gone into this venture with Limits Express thinking that it seemed too good to be true as far as a way to make income. Because it really requires nothing of me except some initial startup capital. And so it did have me a little concerned. And then to hear that on top of it. But again, they're doing everything they said they were going to do. I have my logins. I am in the process of my account getting verified with Walmart, which will then verify me as a Walmart seller. That doesn't just get made up. That you have to go through a process to reach that stage. They walked me through every single step to get my store set up. So I ACH'd them the money again for the inventory. We'll figure out a way to get them the other money to set up the account. And now we're looking, it's probably going to be at least about another month for inventory to get sent to Walmart for my store, for it to get uploaded, or for it to get delivered to the Walmart delivery centers, and then to make its way to their online store, which sucks. I'm going to be essentially a full month behind of where I want it to be. And most of that is because of Chase. So that sucks. Put your money in a place and you want it to be, potentially feel like it's being protected, but protected from me, it's my money. So, and then on top of it all, Chase also requires for a business bank account that you have a minimum of $2,000 in there, or else you get hit with penalty fees. The hell? It's $2,000 of working capital that I can't touch. Just has to sit there. Just has to sit there so Chase can use that money to loan out to others. It's my money, damn it. I hate banks. I do. Anyways, real quick on the investment front, I've put a decent little chunk of money into Google stock over the last couple of weeks. And tonight, after the market closes, Google is going to announce their earnings. And I suspect their earnings are going to be pretty darn good. Now, normally that would mean that there'd be a nice little pop in the Google stock. Google is ranked as probably the most undervalued of the Mag 7 stocks available right now. People are worried that Google search is on its way out, thanks to things like ChatGPT and whatnot. And the latest data shows that people are still going to Google search more than ChatGPT if they want to know something. Google AI services like Gemini are taking over a bigger portion of the AI interest now. They've been getting contracts with companies like OpenAI for their cloud services. I think Google is actually in a pretty good position at the moment. So I do expect earnings to be pretty good. That being said, good earnings do not necessarily lately mean the stock is going to jump. In fact, what I've been seeing in the so far for this earnings season, but also last earnings season, if a company beat expected revenues, stock actually went down, which doesn't make any sense. Normally, if a company, and then companies that came in below, their stocks jumped. That's backwards. It's not supposed to work like that. So who the heck actually knows what's going to happen when Google reports tonight as the market closes, which should be soon. But will be interesting to see what the account looks like when the market opens tomorrow. How my Google stock is doing. But I suspect that people will hopefully start to see that Google is actually doing good things. As far as the Mag 7 stocks go, they're starting to really make some progress moving forward on the AI front. So we will see. We will see. Everyone's jumped on board with NVIDIA and Microsoft. Apple's lagging pretty heavily as well at the moment. Um, Meta, I absolutely refuse to be involved with. There's just something about Zuckerberg and the way that his services like Facebook and Instagram, the way that they just the advertising, their platforms have just become advertisements. I just don't want to get involved with anything to do with Facebook, Meta. I know they're doing big AI things and building AI centers and all this jazz. It's, I don't know. It's one company I really don't feel good about putting money into. Um, I would have said the same thing to Tesla, but as I've mentioned, I put some money into Tesla at the peak of Elon Musk hate. I pretty much doubled my money there, and then I sold it. And I don't really want to get involved with Tesla again either. Um, Anything that Elon Musk is involved with is just a little too much of a roller coaster for my liking. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it. Just wanted to briefly talk about having to beg permission from our overlords, especially our financial overlords, to be able to do things with our own money. So, anyways, that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Bye.